division. So let me show you how we go about in doing that. First thing is first is let me try to get rid of some of these questions. Bear with me. Okay. So let's firstly get rid of this data. Oh no, let's not do it that way. Let's do it this way. Alrighty. So number one is x minus 2 into 2x to the 5th power plus 0x4 plus 3x cubed minus 7x squared plus 3x minus 4. There's nothing missing. The exponents go from coefficient to x, 2, 3, 4, and to the 5th degree. So nothing's missing. So all we have to do is just simply work it out. I'm going to try to help you work it out. And also, let's go about doing it. So we have x, oh, maybe that's a little too light. Let's make that a little bit thicker. And we'll use a, preferably we will use a brush. Okay, that's better. So we have x minus 2 into the following large problem. 2x to the 5th plus 0. That's still looking very bad. Let's try this now. Okay. So we have, there we go. We have x minus 2 into 2x to the 5th plus 0 x to the 4th plus 3x cubed, nothing is missing, minus 7x squared plus 3x minus 4. Alright, nothing is missing. We have all the exponents. Let's focus. What number times x will give you at least 2x to the 5th power? Well, if we multiply it by 2x to the 4th, this is what we'll get. Because 2 times x to the 4th will give us 2x to the 5th. Alright. And then 2 times negative 2, and then 2 times negative 2 will give us, that'll give us negative, 2 times negative 2 is negative 4x to the 4th. Yeah. Alright, now since we are subtracting, signs changes. Because we're subtracting, that affects all the signs within here. So this becomes a negative and this becomes a positive. Alright, so just focus on that. Because we are subtracting, all the signs change. This becomes a negative and this becomes a positive. Alright, so 2x minus 2 is 0, so we don't have to worry about that. 0 plus 4 becomes 4x to the 4th. Bring down the next one, plus 3x cubed. So what we gotta focus is on how to get rid of 4x. So that's a positive, so we can add another positive. Let's add 4x to the 4th power. 4x to the 4th, should be to the 3rd. 4x to the 3rd times x will give us 4x to the 4th power times, that's a negative, time that becomes a negative 8x cubed. Right, after we do subtraction, this becomes a negative, this becomes a positive, that becomes a 0. 3 plus 8 is 11x cubed. Bring down the 7x squared, or minus 7x squared, minus 7x squared. So what goes into 11x cubed would be, well, plus 11x squared. Very good. 11x squared times x is 11x cubed. Alright, 11x squared times negative 2 becomes negative 11x squared. Signs change. Negative 7 plus 11 becomes 8, 9, 10, 11, 3, 4. This becomes positive 4x squared. What can go into positive 4x squared? Well, plus 4x. Plus 4x goes into there. Well, we need some more room, so let me extend that. 4x squared goes into that nicely. Plus 4x times 2 is plus, oh, excuse me, should be negative, minus 8x. Right. I forgot to bring that down, so we have to bring down our plus 3x. Signs change. 3x plus 8x becomes 11x. And then bring down our 4. We need more room, so I'll lengthen the problem space. So what can go into 11x? Well, what can go into 11x is plus 11. Plus, do we need to add an x? No, because that's 1x plus 11. Plus 11 times x is 11x. This becomes 11x plus, nope, minus, I'm sorry. Minus 11 times 2 is negative 22. Alright. But because we're subtracting, all the signs change. Alright. So negative 4 plus 22 is, alright, so that's how you go about in doing that. Alright, next. Alright, next is number 4, which I'm not going over. You should, well, I'll go over it very quickly. That shouldn't take long at all. We have 1, right? We have 6, minus 5, and minus 2, and I guess I wrote a 1. I'm not sure why I wrote. Bring down the 6. 1 times 6 is 6. Right, negative 5 plus 6 is plus 1. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times negative 1 is negative 1. No remainder. So our answer is the following. And if you use the well, we can leave at that. But if I were to ask you what the answer is, it's probably 3x minus 1 and 3x, excuse me, and 2x plus 1. And let me just look at it to see if it looks right to me. Actually, this should be 2, and this should be a minus. I made a mistake. Actually, 3x. Yes, this is actually correct. It should be 3x minus 1, 2x plus 1 if you work it out. So then x will equal what? X will equal 1 over 3, or x will equal 1 over 2. Yay, we did it. Fantastic. All right, now we're going to erase all this and work on our next one. Now we have to graph. And graphing is a lot of fun. I'm sure you all are enthusiastic to draw. So we have the following formula: g of x equals x cubed. So you select whatever points, and I'll just go over one. So let's say g of x is, let's select let's say 0, 2, and negative 2. So b let's start with 0. So it'll be 0 to the third power equals what? Well, 0 to the third power is 1. Then we have 2 to the third power, which is 2 times 2 is 4, 8. Right? And then negative 2 to the third power is negative 8. So we have 1, 8, and negative 8. Now when you draw it, I'll make each line represent 2, 4, 6, 8. Make it easier for us. 2, 4, 6, 8. 2, 4, 6, 8. 2, 4, 6, 8. So if x is 0, which is here, and our y is 1, our x is 2, and our y is 8, and our x is negative 2, and our y is negative 8. So we get a line going like this. Alright? And it's expanding forever this way, down, and it's expanding forever this way. And vice versa for the top, it's expanding this way and this way forever. Hence, the domain, which is our x-axis, is all real numbers, and our range, which is our y-axis going up and down, is all real numbers. And our degree, which is our exponent, is 3 in this case. All right. This is related to our exponent, which is that little number on the top. All right, that takes care of that. And I'm going to erase all this, so say goodbye. Goodbye. Next is adding and subtracting. I am not going to go over that with you. Next is factoring. So I kind of briefly went over that with one of the numbers on top, but let's go over number 27 together. So we have this. So we look at this number and this number. So what are the factors of x squared? Well, what will give me x squared are the following numbers: x times x. Alright, so x can go there, and x will go here. So x and x. Since there's one plus here and there's a minus, we'll put a plus here and a minus here. Now we look at the last number, which is 32. What two factors of 32, when added or subtracted, will give you 4? Well, 8 times 4 is 32, and when we add it or subtract it, well, 8 plus 4 is 12, so that's not it, but 8 minus 4 does give us 4. So this number is a positive, so we'll put the larger number where it's positive. So I'll put the 8 here next to this plus, and I'll put the 4 over here. Alright, so that takes care of that. But the situation is we don't know whether the answer is right or wrong. So now we have to use the FOIL method to verify whether our question is right or wrong. So we have first, outer, inner, and last, FOIL. Our first number is x times x. X times x is x squared. Then we have our outer, which is x times -4, which is -4x. Then we have inner, which is 8 times x, which is plus 8x. Then we have our last, which is 8 times -4, which is -32. So after we simplify, especially these two terms, we get the following number: x squared minus 4x minus 32. What we can see is this, whatever, and this line up. So that means we selected the correct binomials. Now we're not done there. Now we have to figure out what our x equals. And I quickly went over this on with the other ones on top. So x equals the opposite. So x equals the opposite of +8, which is -8, and x equals the opposite of -4, which is +4. All right, fantastic. Let me go over another one. Let's do number 28 together. So, and I'll go over the other way with you. So for number 28, let me go over the different method called the ABC method. So we have 4x squared minus plus 28, x plus 24. So the way this method works is we multiply 4 times 24. And 4 times 24 is 96. I'll write that over here. So we gotta look at what two factors of 96 will give us 24. So let's see here. 96 divided by 4 gives us 4 and 24, so that's not it. 96 divided by 6 gives me 6 and 16. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So that's not it. 96 divided by 8 gives me 8 and 12. 96 divided by 24 gives me 24 and 4. 96 divided by 8, 8 and 12, 8 and 12. 96 divided by, I'm running out of 7. No. Okay, I just realized I made a mistake. So that's the problem of doing this alone. I realize what we're doing is, when we're doing the ABC method, which I want to bring up when it comes to longer math, is we multiply these two terms. So that gave us 96. And we're trying to figure out what two terms will give us the middle term, which is 28. So that's my mistake. That's a plus 28, so remember this needs to be a positive 28. And the factors would be 20 and 4. Let me verify. 24 times 4 gives us 96, and 24 plus 4 gives us positive 28, which is over here. So now we rewrite this. So it's 4x squared plus these two terms give us 28, we start with the least common number, I mean the smaller number, which will be 4x plus 24x plus 24. All right, now we group them. Well, we can group this one, and we can group this one, we can group this one, and we can group this one. We can factor out 4x from this. When we factor 4x from there, we are just left with x plus 1. And we can factor 24 from there. Don't forget my plus. And then we're just left with x plus 1. When you see that these two binomials are the same, that means we're on the right track. All right. Now we have to rewrite this. So now we're left with 4x plus 24. All right. And then we write down the two binomials are identical. We just write it down once. And we can factor out a 4 from there, or we can just leave it and I'll show you something interesting. So what we get is the following for the answer. We get x equals negative 24 over 4, which is the same thing as negative 6, and x plus 1, which is negative 1. If we had factored out 4x plus 24, if we had done that, let me just do that on the side, we would have gotten plus 6, which is x equals minus 6. So you could have done it this way, or you could have done it this way, whatever way you preferred. All right, that covers everything in the verses you need to know. Romans 3:10, as is written, there's none righteous, no, not one. Romans 3:23. I forget all the rest of the verses right now, but you need to write down all the verses. Romans 3:10, Romans 2:23, 5:12, Romans 6:23, and the books of the New Testament, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, all the way to the book of Revelation. And that concludes the review. I think I did this in less than an hour. So study this, come in, don't ask no questions, take your test, be done, and we're good to go.